Thank y'all for coming. I want to go ahead and introduce Mayor Gilich so he can start this press conference off. Thank you.
Thanks, Cecilia. And I'm going to read a brief statement and then open it up for some questions and answers possibly. But so let me welcome everyone to City Hall today. And Gulf Coast Carnival Association and the Krewe of Neptune represent decades of tradition in the celebration of Mardi Gras in Biloxi and on the Gulf Coast. These parades that these organizations hold each year require a tremendous amount of planning, expense, and energy. These parades have always attracted many thousands of people, and that is why we're here today. With much consideration given to the status of coronavirus today in our community, it should be no surprise that we announced the cancellation of parade schedule to be held in February 2021. Like in a tsunami, we've experienced wave after wave of the impact of COVID-19 on our families and our friends. The life safety of our citizens and visitors is at the top of the list. For months, we've been looking at the numbers, the new cases, the deaths, hospitalizations. There is no downward trend that would allow these parades to roll safely in just about 7 weeks from now. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Vaccinations are taking place as we speak, but we've not seen the peak of this virus yet. It's still critical that you protect everyone, wash your hands, wear a mask, and keep your distance from others. I will end by saying, since 1908, over the last 112 years, Carnival has been interrupted during times of war, and in 1918, during the Spanish flu epidemic. Be assured, this too shall pass. And we will say again, laissez le bon temps rouler. So with that, I'll invite members of Gulf Coast Carnivalization and Carnival Organization and Neptune for comments if they choose, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Now I have Kenny Holloway, if you'll come up here on behalf of Gulf Coast Carnival Association.
Thank you, Mayor Gilich. The mayor and I have been discussing this possibility for several months now and just kind of monitoring the situation. This is, for those of you who love Mardi Gras the way the sponsors of Gulf Coast Carnival love Mardi Gras, this is a sad day for us. But under the circumstances, we fully agree with the mayor and not running the parades this year. It's just a prudent thing to do. The numbers are not in our favor. We've waited as long as we can wait, and like the mayor said, there's a lot of planning that goes on with this. So, like I say, it's not something we wanted to do, but it's the right thing to do, and we fully support the mayor and his decision to not roll the parade this year. Thank you.
Next, we'll call up Kenny Glavan, and he'll speak on behalf of the Krewe of Neptune.
Thank you, Mayor, for inviting me to come up here and say a few words. My role is both as City Councilman and as governmental liaison for the Krewe of Neptune. And I will assure you, members of our crew, leadership of our crew are completely heartbroken that we see the numbers that is not going to allow us to hold the night parade this year in Biloxi. However, we're hopeful that if those numbers do go in our favor later on, perhaps Biloxi and the Gulf Coast can look forward to a parade later in the season if we have some good numbers. We totally understand where the mayor is coming from, that the welfare of our community is paramount, and very soon we will see that we'll get past this pandemic and we'll have better times ahead of us sooner rather than later. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Kenny. And thank you. And if there are any questions, us three will be able to answer anything. But I think we've expressed, the need for us to safely roll these parades and not do anything that would be counter to the people we love and the support of the carnival. We'll have another year to do it the very best way we can. And so we're excited that, there is a light at the end of this tunnel, and that hopefully this too shall pass. So, any questions?
Mayor, what is the expected economic impact by canceling this parade in Biloxi?
Well, it's a bunch. It's multi-millions of dollars when you look at the whole economy of, balls and costumes and just the events related to the parade. But you're talking to 150,000 folks that would attend these parades. The impact, we're not going to try to accommodate, anything because of the dollar amount related to canceling these parades. With life safety is the main issue. But it's a multi-million-dollar impact to our economy.
Last week you spoke of the likelihood of canceling the parades. What over the last week and a half made it a foregone conclusion y'all had to step up and say?
Well, to be very specific, for months we've been looking at hospitalizations, probably the most realistic measure, and internally, I was looking at something below 1,000 hospitalizations. There are numbers from 1,000 to 3,000, I believe, today's new positives. But the hospitalizations have have reached from about 1,000 in mid-December to over 1,300 hospitalizations. In looking at our hospitalizations to our major hospitals, they're stressed now. And Central Mississippi has provided some of their cases down here. So, but the stress on the hospitalization is more serious than ever before for our hospital systems here. But the hospitalizations was my key figure on making this call. There's no way we can drop below 1,000 between these 7 weeks.
Mayor, you mentioned the possibility of rescheduling later. What's that problem?
Well, again, the vaccination and that effort may drop these numbers. Who knows whether it'll be in June? I don't expect anything to come in a favorable way, a downward trend that would allow us to gather these, hundreds of thousands of people in a super spreader kind of event. And that's the main thing that drove us. We just can't do that. As the vaccines, and the herd immunity grows, then we'll look at that. But at this point in time, we haven't reached the peak yet. We're getting ready to have another wave because of Christmas gatherings and now New Year's Eve, and the governor has extended and reminded everyone, of his executive order on alcohol sales as well as masks, and I think all but 2 counties in Mississippi have the order to mask up. So there's a lot of things that need to change, but I pay attention to hospitalizations, and early on in this, in March, and when things were really happening, we were hopeful of the June and July timeframe, but a couple of events like Memorial Day weekend started another wave, and then the 4th of July, and all these gathering points have indicated you can't bring everybody together and not have an impact to this corona. Again, like a tsunami, can't change it. It's gonna flow through. Yeah. Well, but to answer your question, the numbers are gonna have to drive, in probably April or May to look at it again. I think we're not gonna have a realistic impact to where we are till April or May.
Mayor, there's a lot of other events that usually occur in the Carnival season here in Biloxi, like the Children's Walking Parade. I know the Biloxi Bay Area Chamber has a dog parade, the Krewe of Biloxi. What about those types of events? Are they still going to be allowed, or how are you going to?
Well, we're going to look at the opportunity to social distance and do it safely without becoming a super spreader event. That's what's different. These are the 2 most significant parades on the coast, with the most history and the most, fanfare and impact to the celebration of Mardi Gras. So, that's why it was important to give it every chance that we could to go forward. But it's not in the stars, and so we're going to go forward, and we'll look at it day by day, like we do everything day by day. If that's it, y'all were easy, and to see you. Thank you for everyone being here, and again, we wish this is almost the end of 2020, and I'm not going to predict what 21 looks like, But we're thankful that this is ending. So thank you. Very good. Happy New Year.